Here are 3 tips to help you to better digest your food. A little bit about the science of digestion. Digestion is a very long process depending on the kinds of foods that you eat. So if you eat a high fatty meal, you're going to it's going to take a little bit longer for you to digest the foods, whereas low fiber, high carbohydrate foods like sugar, certain fruits, may take a lot quicker. It's in and out of your system very fast, which is not always a good thing. Say, why is this even important, and how is this even related to lifting, fitness, health, those sort of things? Well, it has a lot to do with health because your nutrition is what makes up your ability to see progress in physique and to improve your health. So without good nutrition, then you can't really grow, you can't really lose weight, and you can't improve your health. So nutrition is a very important thing, and that ties into digestion and how well you're digesting your foods, because you can have all the good foods in the world and you can have access to all the good foods, but if you're not digesting properly and you're not very efficient, there's really no point. So you want to make sure you're absorbing the nutrients that you're actually eating and that you're not letting it go to waste. Tip is to not neglect the first stage of digestion, which is called the cephalic phase. So cephalic phase is basically your body is preparing for the food, and your salivary glands are to produce the saliva, if you will, to help prepare for digestion. So this is things such as if you're going about prepping your meals, you're about to cut up the vegetables, cutting up the meat, cooking up the rice, or what have you. That process of leading up to the food. So this goes back to when we actually had to hunt for our food, although some people still hunt for their food. When we hunted for our food, what that did was it had a kind of a build up to the point where we were mentally preparing ourselves for the food. And again, that is the early onset stage of digestion. A lot of people skip this phase by going to things like fast food, or even fast food is just so accelerated now that it's not in the best interest of how we are biologically made. So you really want to avoid neglecting this phase of digestion. Second tip to better digest is to put your body in what's called the parasympathetic mode. It's important to be in the parasympathetic mode when you're about to eat, because it's the rest and digest mode. You're relaxed, you're not in this fight or flight mode, you're not kind of stressed out, there's no release of cortisol. These are really important factors to be in when you're about to eat a meal. Why? Because when you are in sympathetic mode, meaning the opposite of rest and digest, you will not be able to digest the food as well than if you were in rest and digest. So a simple example on how you can get your body in the parasympathetic mode is if you are working at a desk, or you're working at your job or office. If you have a desk, to not eat at your desk, because your desk is it should be a stressful place, because you're hard at work, your mind is working, you're using your brain. You should go to a different spot, such as maybe it has to be your car, or has a lunchroom, or somewhere away from your work site, so that you are mentally in a different place. Subconsciously, you're not in that sympathetic drive. You want to be in that parasympathetic drive. That's one way. Another way is to sit down and to eat your food, to not stand and eat. I like to stand preferably, but I know that eating and sitting kind of goes hand in hand. You really want to sit and enjoy your food. Okay, so the third tip to better digest your food is to start chewing, because chewing is actually the first step, including the cephalic phase of digestion. When you are chewing your food, you're breaking down the nutrients, if you will, so that when you swallow and it goes into the stomach, goes into the small intestine, it's easier for the enzymes in those organs to break down the food even further. So you already have some enzymes and the glands in your mouth that help to break down the food. This is why when you were a kid, your parents told you to chew your food, and there's a reason for that. If you have digestion issues such as diarrhea or constipation or what have you, and you're not chewing your food, Start by chewing your food, and you'll notice you'll probably see some better digestion. If you have trouble chewing your food, because some people won't chew, what you can do is drink water. So every time I eat a bite of a heavy course meal, I'll drink water to help wash it down so that it will kind of help get the food down the system. I will be making a separate video discussing a little bit more in depth on why chewing is important, kind of the science behind it and the enzymes that are involved, because chewing is a huge thing that unfortunately not a lot of people do, and it's really holding them back from taking out a lot of nutrients that they need from their food. Another quick tip on the parasympathetic mode is to, when you're eating, try not to use your phone, or if you do use your phone, really focus on chewing and eating your food. But phones are often a stressor to certain people, and the blue light even from the phones can really irritate, in my opinion, and it just disrupts the flow of your eating. So I think personally it's best to just sit, eat, chew, and enjoy your food, and don't be distracted by things that you think are stressful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.